All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Has Been Sports Club. I'm Adam.
I'm Chet.
And this is Jake. Everybody say hey to Jake.
Hey, everybody.
Anyway, say hey.
I said everybody say hey to Jake, not Jake say hey to everybody.
I want to say hey to everybody.
Listening's a skill, dude.
It is a skill.
What?
I get it.
He's done.
You're cooked, kid. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about today because we are in the thick of it with March Madness. And we have another storyline that we're going to dive into a little bit. But primary focus of the show, March Madness. So let's get into it. We are currently, it is, what is today, the 29th?
29th.
Okay, today is Friday, the 29th. I forget. It feels like it's a Saturday because I didn't have to work today. It's
We're a little
weird.
behind. We're a little behind on the updates. Didn't get around to shooting earlier in the week. But oh well. We're
It's
good.
fine.
We're good.
These things happen.
We're good.
G-Eazy said it best.
I was waiting for that.
Anyway, we've got Gonzaga Purdue on right now. It's looking like Purdue's going to run away with this one. Only like 3 minutes left. And then NC State just won. Pretty wild that they're keeping this thing rolling. North Carolina lost last night. Big heartbreaker for me. So,
But didn't surprise any of us.
No, I actually bet on Alabama. I won some money on that game.
Yeah.
no, Alabama played a good game. But the biggest one for locals, Illinois. They're still dancing.
Yeah.
Chet's, I'm sure, thoroughly excited about that. We haven't really gotten into the talking about it, but I'm sure he's thoroughly excited and he'll tell you all about it.
I mean, I'm excited about it just because, Syracuse isn't in. So when you're not good enough to make it in, you got to go with your other team. So, Illinois played really good. Their first couple of games, they really kind of dominated. They had really good offense.
Mm-hmm.
They scored the basketball. Defense could have done better in the first couple rounds, but they've made it. They have now advanced into the Elite Eight. And yesterday in the first half, you could tell that there was a scheme. Like there was a game plan going into that because Iowa State is tough defensively, and Illinois needed to move the basketball, needed to produce and slow the game down because they weren't going to get many transition points, and they played well in the half court set. So good for them. They gave everybody kind of a little heart attack, like they do a lot of times. They're kind of trying to lose it down the stretch, but
that's just that's not even exclusive to U of I. That is just Illinois State in general brand of basketball.
But they held on. They were good enough to hold on. So.
Coleman Hawkins had a little trouble scoring there and getting going in the first half. Kind of figured it out in the second. I was actually glad I couldn't bet on that game because I used him to bet on stats first weekend and won some money, and I probably would have done it again. And he definitely wouldn't have hit last night.
No,
so.
no kidding.
I'll tell you what, though, Terrence Shannon is
He's having a hell of a tournament.
impressive.
He is.
He is
Okay, so
impressive.
I actually have a question related to the upset because I'm curious on your thoughts as a UNC fan.
Okay.
When they took Baycott out there in the second half because he got a little frustrated at one point, I felt like they let him sit a little long.
They did.
And obviously having your big that scores a lot, that gets a lot of rebounds and gets you second chance points, having him out that long, that probably didn't help too much.
It doesn't, but I'll tell you what. Guys like that who have been playing at this level for that long, there had to have been something seriously, like, I don't want to say wrong, but I have a hard time believing that he didn't at least have some part, like some say in it. Like maybe he didn't feel like he was ready to go back in. Everybody on that team, as far as starters, were just having a tough night.
They weren't
getting shots to fall. It was a chippy game. It really was.
It was.
Yeah, but if you're Baycott, dude, you can't sit that long.
No, you're right.
Because you're a difference maker. Like you.
Yeah.
I didn't look at the stats to see what the rebounding differential was, but I mean, when you're not in the game and you don't rebound basketball, second chance points are going to absolutely tear you up.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you
especially
don't,
in a close game,
right?
like
You
that.
don't shoot the ball well, and you give the other team multiple opportunities, second chance points. If you don't
That's gonna
shoot,
lose
you
you
don't
the
shoot
game.
well. Yeah, no, you don't win many ball games like that.
Right.
They definitely found out that they're not as deep as they thought they were. The reserve guys.
And then you got.
It was miserable to watch.
Oh, it was. It was tough.
When the starters were out, it was miserable. But the starters weren't even really better.
No, they weren't. And
aside from Cormac Ryan, it was a rough watch.
Well, and then you got guys on Alabama like
Nelson.
Grant Nelson. I mean, dude became an overnight sensation. He's now
he
being
went
sung as a folk hero down there in Alabama.
Yeah, he went off.
Had a fantastic game. Watching that.
What a goony stash he's got.
Oh,
too.
dude,
God.
it's bad. He definitely brings that Alabama pride. That's for sure.
What's wrong with the stash?
It's not yours.
It's not a good stash.
It's not a good one.
That's why I said a goony stash.
Yeah, it's not a good one.
Respect the stash.
I do. I mean, but it's not a good one.
Moving on.
So
What a gross matchup, though. Clemson and Alabama. Who wants to see Clemson Alabama as an Elite Eight match?
I mean, Alabama's going to win that game.
It's just, it's gross.
Dude, it is kind of cool to see Clemson winning basketball games.
Yeah, I've actually enjoyed some of these.
like,
You know,
that's
we've
wild.
talked about it all year about how weirdly competitive the NCAA is, and I think
Oh yeah, broad spectrum of
Yeah.
how there's been so much talent across the nation. Not just powerhouses and there's no. Yes, you have Purdue that's had successful seasons this stretch of period of time. Number one in the nation. UConn back-to-back years of being one of the top dogs. Gonzaga still up there with a good record. But what do you think now that you're sitting here talking about this? What do you think the transfer portal and the NIL has done for college sports and everything like that? Because I think what it's done is, in my opinion, and I can't say that I'm a huge fan of it.
I'm not
Right.
liking this at all.
Yeah.
But
not a big
I mean,
fan
but
either.
what is it? I mean,
I
I
feel
think
like
it
it's
brings
leveled the playing field.
that's exactly what I thought.
And actually, I just
It
had
gives-
this discussion last night with two of my buddies when we were watching the games yesterday. Had that same discussion, actually, weirdly enough. I talked to them about how we're going to start seeing teams that aren't SEC, and I was talking specifically football, but I think it relates to all sports. You're going to see teams that were those powerhouses like you had in the SEC, but you're going to start seeing teams competing that are outside of the SEC for championships because they have money not just from endorsements, but you got to think they're alumni too. If you have any rich alumni that really care about their school and want to bring their school pride or whatever, they're willing to throw in money and help pay for players and help get them there. Mm-hmm. And once they start to make a difference, then their program starts to roll and they start to kind of compound on that. We've seen that with the program that South Dakota State's building right now. They're doing that where they're starting to bring in more and more people that end up getting drafted, and they're starting to get more and more looks, better players. And then they're starting to get to the point where they can actually compete, for bigger titles than what they have been in the past. And I think that's going to happen across the whole NCAA. As 3 to 5 years is what I think it'll take time, to really start to notice. But I think it's going to happen.
I think specifically for March Madness, for this tournament specifically, I hate it. I hate what the NCAA has turned into.
See, I kind of like it though. I love watching a good upset.
That's the thing is, it's upsets used to be rare and fun, but now it's
Right.
just common.
Yeah, I get it.
You start spreading that talent out, and now it's now we've got an 11 seed going into the Elite Eight. You've got a 6 seed that's made it to the Elite Eight. You've got all these mid to lower seeds. It's it's fine. But it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's going to take time to get used to it.
So
right now I
yeah.
don't like it, but I'll get used to it.
Let's go with this NC State thing. I think they lost 7 of the last 10. in the regular season going into the conference tournament. So I think I saw that somewhere. And now they've gone through the ACC, won the ACC, and now they're in the Sweet 16. No, now they're in the Elite Eight. Like, you just tanked your season if it wasn't for the conference tournament. I mean, I like to see that. I like to see the 11 seeds getting in there. Okay, you can.
I do too, but I think you're gonna
But that's the thing is it's not a rare occurrence now. It's not something that you don't expect, because now it's like, okay, the playing field is leveled so much and there's not those powerhouses, like powerhouse schools anymore.
So you're telling me you like to see powerhouses just beat the absolute brakes off of somebody?
I do, actually.
See, I
no
don't.
wonder he's a fan.
I like.
No wonder he's a UNC
North Carolina
fan.
dudes.
No wonder he's a UNC fan.
Speaking of which, did you guys see Michael Jordan storm out afterwards?
No.
Oh, dude, he was up in his
Speaking
suite
of which,
just looking all
can we just remind him that his powerhouse UNC lost?
Yeah, for real. No, but I mean, you'll notice fake teams though. You'll see teams.
Your Illinois team is finally good, and now you think you're hot shit. It's fine.
Hey, I'm surprised they made it this far.
We remember the Alamo, Chet.
I figured Illinois basketball would have blown it by now, but
honestly, I thought they would too. I didn't even think.
I didn't have super high hopes, but it's fun to watch. I mean,
that's why you have the courtesy takes you a long way. Courtesy of pushing your chair in just takes you a long way.
But I think
on the bright side, with North Carolina being out, at least now I just get to watch the games, and maybe I get a new, fresher take on what the new NCAA is, and maybe by the end of the tournament I'll actually enjoy this. If we see
UNC's out, and watch, now he's going to be like, let's go, 11 seed.
Yeah, let's go NC State.
There it is.
Keep it in state, might as well.
NC State, let's roll. Keep it in conference, bud.
Oh, whatever. In conference, in state, doesn't matter.
I'm an ACC guy, man.
What else?
Clemson then? You gonna root for Clemson then?
No, I can't root for Clemson.
Let's see.
That's gross.
Okay, back to the tournament. Come on.
Clemson's just gross.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily rooting for Clemson, but let's see who else was a decent one. Oakland taking down Kentucky. I'm absolutely in shock that John Calipari still has a job.
Yeah.
And they're right. Like,
greatest recruiter of all time, shittiest coach ever.
So that's
you need to switch him to a GM role and just let somebody else coach the team.
Can he be like dean of athletics or something?
Yeah. So I saw that the athletic director,
AD. That's the word I'm looking for.
That's dean sounded so much more professional,
right?
Yeah,
which does not fit a Calipari role. Not professional at all.
The athletic director was just like,
he's just glad now he can actually pay for players.
The best option. They say that he's still the best option for that program.
That's just so not true.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know that I agree with that.
Like, that's the thing is all of the great. Like, I feel like all of the great programs develop from within. Like, North Carolina. Sorry, biased. I was gonna go Duke and North Carolina. I don't want to hear it. Okay, I'm saying North Carolina. You have Hubert Davis, who was under Roy Williams. It's like they developed him. Then. Duke, I don't remember the guy's name, but is it Shire?
John Shire.
It's like he was developed through Duke, like under Coach K. Like
he played for him.
I know, and then coaching staff, and now here we are.
Yeah.
So it's like, and there's other schools to go off of too. It's just like they develop from within, but it's like I have a hard time believing Calipari lets anybody else have a handle on anything.
That's because he probably doesn't.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah,
Kentucky does have good talent.
Hey, at least they're not Virginia, though.
That's the thing, though, is Kentucky has great individual talent, but they don't have a coach that can teach them how to play as a team.
Yeah,
at all.
That was just rough to see. Awesome to see Oakland. I mean, I'm for that. You know, like that was awesome to see. But to see Kentucky go down like that when you really shouldn't have that.
Back-to-back years.
Yep. Well, and one of my favorite stories coming out of this, though, so far is still got to be Oregon. Because in their last game, they scored like 73 points, and 13 of those points came from two other guys on their team. The rest of their points came from Coussard and Dante. Yeah. It was nuts. Like, I mean, those are the only two guys that could score. In their first game, like, they had combined, I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was about halfway through the second half of their second round game. Dante and Coussard had already combined for 90 points.
Yeah.
And they were the only two that could score. It was insane. But as soon as they got shut down, like, it was game over. So, like, you're really only dealing with 2 people on that team.
And so the game went into double overtime. The game went into double overtime. Can you imagine, like, if you are one of the other starters on that team,
How
you
bad
did
you felt.
nothing.
Like,
you did
anything.
nothing to help your team, and you go to double overtime and lose. Like, I would feel about this big.
Like, literally, one of them had, like,
You guys
6
think
points.
you even have an option to go into the transfer portal?
Oh,
Nobody
my
wants you.
Like, jeez. Double overtime, giving yourself an opportunity to win. And
one guy has 6 and one guy has 7. The other guys have the other 60 points, and nobody else has anything on the bench.
That's
it was
ridiculous.
wild.
Like, one of their starters had 0 points.
You did nothing. And I know there's more aspects to the game.
Right,
Don't
but that's
get me
just
wrong.
crazy.
But it was like, you really did not. Did you even participate? I don't even know.
Do we get a
I don't even know if you can
trophy
give a participation medal because.
Dude,
were you even
do
there?
anything. The dude had.
You didn't participate.
They had like one guy on the bench that had like 0 points, 0 assists, 1 rebound. So we
Dude's literally just out there running.
all know that he's just standing at the 3-point line, and the ball happened to come back to him, and he grabbed it.
Hey, yo, man.
Dude's just out there running.
It's like he didn't do anything. It's
Hey,
like
man.
when you first get in like the 2K and you're just running around hitting all the buttons trying to figure out what they do.
Hey, yo, man. Pass me the rock.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
No, it's unreal.
No, it's crazy. It's a crazy stat. Like, it's nuts.
Who else was good?
Yeah, I mean, there was.
I'm looking back, like the tournament wise.
Yeah, no, there's just lots of good basketball. I mean, I know you said that you like.
Oh,
really
Yale
enjoyed the
over
powerhouse
Auburn.
teams. Oh, Yale over Auburn. That was a big
That was
one.
legit.
Grand Canyon. Who did they take out? They took out somebody.
GCU took out St. Mary's.
The one team,
Yeah.
that I really wanted to make a run was New Mexico.
Facts. I'm looking at it right
And
now, and Clemson
that
ruined
made
that.
me
Now Clemson's
so
making a
mad.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did want to see that. You're right. Arizona going down to Clemson is a surprise. I was not surprised that Arizona was going to get bounced. I mean, they made it farther than I even thought they were going to get bounced.
I thought they were going to make it to the next round, and then I had them getting knocked out by Alabama. Actually.
Oh, the one that absolutely surprised me is the James Madison over Wisconsin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that
that,
one was
I
pretty
didn't
nuts.
even think was a
You were
chance.
asleep for that game.
Like the Big Ten,
happened.
the Big Ten in general.
When you
just,
wake
like,
up,
outside of Illinois, the Big Ten has been very disappointing in the tournament.
They have. They really have. No, dude, when he woke up on Friday, I had to fill him in on all the games because that was when Grand Canyon knocked out St. Mary's. And then James Madison took out Wisconsin. And I'm like telling him, and he's like, no.
I was kinda-
no. I'm like, dude, you missed so much.
There's so many things that happened.
Right.
I was kinda pissed.
I was like, you missed so much, dude.
Well, Chet, we've learned our lesson. Maybe we slow down.
What about Virginia, though? Like, I'm still stuck
I
on
hate
their
Virginia.
dude, their play-in game. I'm still stuck on that. 14 points
There's
in a
okay.
half of basketball.
There's a lot of people that
they
are not
went-
happy about
Like,
that.
that's
What-
insane.
I saw a stat. It was like they went like an hour and a half of real time of not scoring.
Oh yeah,
It was
Chet
some-
told me that
it was
because
like-
it
or it
combined.
was like 45 minutes or something
57.
like.
It was
yeah,
57 minutes.
Almost an hour.
and
Yeah,
that was
almost an hour.
including the half.
I had the
Yeah.
halftime, but they
But
had not
still-
scored.
but still, that's a long
That's-
time.
I think it was 9 minutes.
Yeah, it
in
was
the
9
first
minutes in the
half,
first half, and
and then halftime.
Yeah.
4
and
minutes.
Then 4 and some change,
Yeah,
or
into
3
the
and some
second.
change in the second.
That's
Almost
ridiculous.
an hour, 57 minutes of real time.
with
That
no
bucket.
That's awful.
Unreal.
Like, that's insane.
You know,
They
I wouldn't even.
the commentators even made the joke, and I never looked it up, so I don't know if it is a real rule or not. But they're like, if neither of these teams score 50, they don't even make the tournament on a play-in game.
It's
Really?
not
The person who they play in the first round
Alright.
gets a bye.
I have
That's
a
what
hard
the
time
announcers were
believing
saying. Now, I don't know if I
that.
believe that.
They were probably joking, saying like they should
Probably,
make it a rule.
but the fact that they were even pushing to break 50 is
yeah,
sad.
No, that's pathetic.
And that was the point that I was going to bring up. Not that like I said, I didn't look into it, so I don't know if that's a real thing. But that's just insane that was even a conversation.
yeah,
right.
That's nuts.
No, I'll go back to that. 57 minutes of real time with no bucket. So what? 9 minutes. Hell, I don't even know if they made a bucket when they came back out to warm up at halftime.
Probably did.
I wouldn't be surprised if they missed all that shit too.
They were definitely
They
cold.
might as well
Oh
have. I mean,
man,
All right, everybody, we're only shooting layups.
dude, it was
layup
bad.
lines.
And then I love the fact that there's a commercial that they're airing where they have a Virginia fan,
Oh, that little girl.
like talking smack to one of the players when they come and sit on the bench, and I'm like, that did not run well.
It's
in
like
this
that.
tournament
Point
at
guard
all.
stinks.
It's like
She's
bad,
like, yeah.
Your team
talking
stinks.
like bad timed commercials. It's like when DeMar Hamlin, when he had the incident on the field, and then it immediately cuts to Whopper, 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 Junior, double, triple, Whopper.
Yeah, dude. I think it's
Burger
every
King,
time,
like-
dude. Every time I see that commercial, I die laughing just knowing that they scored 14 points and a half.
Yeah, it was
That's
bad.
wild.
I mean, that made a lot.
Dude,
of
have you
people-
seen that Shaq commercial? That's actually hilarious.
Uh-huh.
He's scrubbing the floor, and she's like, "Shaq, what are you doing?" He keeps dancing in and out of the paint, washing it. And he goes, "I'm trying not to get 3 seconds in the paint." He keeps bouncing out to clean it. It's really funny.
Oh, jeez.
They've done a good job with those. There was another one. He's cleaning the backboard, and he's got glass cleaner. He's wiping it, and the guy's like, "Why are you being so gentle?" He's like, "These things break easy."
They did do good.
Gotta give credit. Those are some pretty good commercials.
Yeah,
But yeah, with Virginia getting in and then performing like that,
That's bad.
that made a lot.
And they
of
weren't
people-
even, yeah. 'cause
That made a
everybody
lot
was
of
mad
people
they were even in the
upset
tournament.
because
Yeah.
there are teams like Indiana State that was a bubble team.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, I mean that really torqued a couple people that they made it in.
That's usually not how I use the word torqued, but all right.
But I mean, seriously, they were a bubble team. They get in and then they perform like that. That is a slap in the face to a lot of those teams that were on the bubble.
We should start making that a game for all the people listening. Every time Chet makes up a phrase that makes it sound like something that's existed forever, but it's totally made
But
up.
you need to have one of those text numbers where they can text in. The first person to text it in gets a prize. What's the code word of the day? Chet's phrase of the day.
Right, it's just he makes it sound like, oh, this is a totally normal phrase that people use regularly.
You
It's
get
just
torqued. What does
not.
that even mean? No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
He gets so close to what it actually is, and then just throws in a random word.
He's got to keep him guessing. Can't
Right.
let him know what his next move is.
Here's the thing: you guys are making fun of me, but this is obviously a topic of conversation here. So
You're right.
It is. Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, no,
You're
it
welcome.
makes you interesting.
Thanks for the content.
you're welcome.
Oh.
What other good basketball?
So, are we March Madness out, or do we keep talking?
I don't know what else you got.
I mean, do we think? Okay, actually, I have a good question. Do you think there's anybody left in the tournament right now that could take out UConn?
No. I like Illinois, and I say no.
I mean, I agree, but I'm just genuinely asking.
I think it's going to be a good game, but I think UConn's going to win.
I just don't think UConn's that good.
Who do you think has the best chance, though? Out of their...
Here, hey man, guess what? You thought UNC was really good.
You're right. Sure did.
So, who do you think... Is there going to be anybody here, though, that has an opportunity, though, to stand up to them? Whether that's on their way to the championship or in the championship, is there anybody you think that could...
I just don't-
You know what? I think God's got the reins, and I think NC State's running this thing all the way to the end.
Dude, I'd be all for that. That'd be awesome. To watch NC
You
State
tell me
take
who's
down
gonna
UConn.
who's gonna stop DJ Burns?
Yeah, to watch NC State take down UConn, that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's going to happen.
That's a big dude.
He is a big dude.
Massive.
That is a big dude.
Yeah. Emma saw him today, and she goes, "He's playing the wrong sport."
Oh, he's a fucking offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's gonna be some good games.
Yeah, I don't know.
What they play tomorrow?
Yeah, North Carolina.
And UConn.
Bama plays.
Yeah, there's gonna be
tomorrow.
There's gonna be some good games tomorrow, folks.
Dude, there's gonna be some good games still tonight.
Yeah, we got Duke
Yeah.
and Houston. Houston's not good. I'm tired
And
of
then Tennessee and Creighton.
tired of pretending they are. I think. Well,
I mean, they're good. They
I
score.
like Creighton. I do like
Do you?
Creighton.
I do like Creighton.
Creighton's had some trouble scoring though.
I had
Recently.
Creighton going to the Final Four.
Wow.
They've had that's a bold pick,
Mm-hmm.
but You never know. I mean, I've seen Tennessee do the same thing that Illinois does, where they just all of a sudden shit the bed out of nowhere.
Right.
I think that.
So, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Creighton moves on tonight. Like,
Yeah.
that would not catch me off guard. Now, that said, I have money on Tennessee to win this game.
Stop.
I think that Houston scores the basketball better than Duke.
I think so, too.
I just think they have more options.
Yeah, I think Houston will take this one. I see Houston moving on.
I mean, I hate Duke, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, well, and I guess my parlay's already out anyway because Purdue won. So I guess it doesn't matter.
Hey,
anymore.
in other news, I know we're in March Madness, but Juwan Howard out of Michigan and the FAU coach
Not
is.
surprised.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised because how fast can you ruin a program? I just asked Juwan.
Yeah, well. Hey, he's Fab Five.
I know. And I kind of like the guy.
The way Michigan fans just ride on that Fab Five team and pretend that is even like recent history is unbelievable.
So I like that FAU coach. I really
do
do.
too.
You know, he's had a couple good years at FAU, and so
I'll be curious to see what he can do.
yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, I think he has an opportunity to do some good things there. We'll see. We'll see what kind of program he can build.
Hey, I'm interested in the girls tournament too because obviously Iowa's winning, UConn's winning, South Carolina's winning. That's going to come down to somebody is going to lose, and that might be against one another. So I'm kind of ready to see that.
I like Caitlin Cole.
So
She's fun to watch. Do you see the?
I have other thoughts on that. I like her as a player. Like, I think she's good. She's got a lot of skill.
I thought she complained a lot.
That's what I was going to say. I do not like the personality.
I don't know.
Well, I
what
mean,
it
if we're
was.
gonna sit there and bash that, then we bash
No, I know. Okay, I just
have
think
you guys
it's
watched
been
like an NBA game recently?
yeah, but I still think that
It's unbelievable.
There's a reason I don't watch the NBA.
yeah.
I mean, college is just as bad.
I
It
know.
It's pretty
doesn't
bad,
matter.
but okay. The main issue I had was that the one game we did watch of them, they were beating them by like 30. It's the end of the game, and she's still complaining about calls. And it was the game where her dad, and it kind of went viral. It like yells at her from the sideline to like knock it off and just play the game.
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
when
like-
you know that kind of was a little
Yeah,
excessive.
when the dad starts yelling at you from the stands to play the game and
That's
stop
fair.
being an asshole, like, I mean, to a certain extent, you might want to watch yourself a little bit, but no denying her game. I mean,
Right.
It's phenomenal, and I know exactly what you were going to bring up next because I was actually going to bring that up too. So I'll let you go ahead. I won't
What?
ruin it.
What?
Oh, that she just got offered to play in the Big Three for $5
Yeah,
million.
I was saying I don't know if it was like I don't know if it was
No,
a legit.
It
thing
is.
or
Yeah,
not.
Ice Cube.
Okay.
Yeah, he literally
Ice
came
Cube
out. He
is
was on
about it.
Pat McAfee.
Okay,
and he talked about
I
it.
saw a tweet and I didn't know if it was like a legit
Nope,
tweet,
he
but I
did.
was like, I'm
And so
pretty
her
sure this is a
potential
real
NBA
thing.
earnings on a rookie or WNBA earnings was like 75,000
Oh,
and some change, and then she would get $1 million or $5 million to play one season at Big Three.
jeez.
And Big Three is only an 8-week season
So she'd still
with
be
a
able to do
2-week
both. Yeah.
playoffs.
Huh.
So it's a max of 10 weeks, and she'd get $5 million doing that.
Absolutely. Sign me
Yeah.
up.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, I feel like she needs to do that.
I would
But that's
think
gonna be
that deal
massive.
so fast.
Dude, that's massive news, though. Like, that's massive news.
I mean,
like, not
it
going to
is.
the WNBA and going to play in a 3-on-3
It's like
league.
okay, it's like
that's
okay,
crazy.
sign a 1-year deal. It's like if it's a success, you get a multi-year thing. You invest your money.
Oh, dude,
right,
I
you
totally
are set
agree.
for
I totally,
life.
like, I don't disagree. It's just crazy.
You know how fast I would sign that? Just be, oh, absolutely. you had me at 5.
But yeah, Caitlin,
Dollars. Deal.
she's so fun to watch. I was a little kind of frustrated with the way that she handled herself in that first game.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that was shocking to me.
It made it a little hard to root for her.
It was
In
shocking.
that moment,
But,
yeah.
you know, you got to also look at it as, okay,
It is
she's the
tournament.
best player in the nation.
Yeah.
She's getting absolutely hounded.
Yeah.
Somebody's on her shirt tail or jersey tail the whole time.
And that's the thing is like she's also
I mean, you're going to be frustrated.
that, and it's like when you've gained as much popularity as she has, like you're under a microscope. The camera is on you every opportunity it has. So it's like
Oh, for sure.
You don't
I get that.
I mean, we don't see the whole thing. Like as soon as a play happens, you don't know what's happening after, but the camera's on her.
All right.
So
Yeah.
she's under that microscope. So it's like,
and you're right. Like, and she came to fame. Like, I mean, she was known, but she came to like immediate fame,
right?
Fast.
Yeah.
And like that's how I give LeBron props. Is he my favorite player? No, but
not even close.
But look how much spotlight time this guy has had,
right?
And he really hasn't made many errors in
he hasn't made too many big bad headlines.
His headlines are usually he's done this, he's done that. But I mean, when you're in the spotlight, somebody's always watching, and you can't do anything wrong. Right. And the guy has done basically everything right.
Yeah,
he's not been a bad headline individual. He's married with kids, all of them to the same woman. Like he's been with them. He's not been in trouble with the law. You don't
like that.
No domestics. No nothing.
I got no problem with his character as a person. I can't stand him as a player.
I know. Yeah. But still, I just find that being able to handle yourself in the spotlight.
Yeah, like credit where credit's due.
And I think he's done fantastic with technology and everything like that.
Still acknowledge that he's a great player. Probably one of the greatest I've ever seen, but can't stand him.
Yeah, but like with everybody having access to technology and you getting fame in a blink, it's like, how do you go from being someone where, okay, I was known but not well known, to you can't even turn around without being on camera.
Right.
Like, that is a lifestyle change. So, I mean, she's done well with it. She was frustrated. I'd be frustrated too in certain circumstances. And everybody's human. They have emotions. And she's passionate about the game. So, I mean, was it frustrating to see her throw her hands up and that? I didn't think that she was kind of like that. And again, I understand frustration, so I'm not looking too far into it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not necessarily holding it against her. It was just a little.
I still think she's absolutely awesome to watch.
Oh,
like
sure.
She is entertainment, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we have spent a good
half hour
talking college basketball.
Rightfully so.
I agree. That's why I said it's going to be the bulk of this. But
yeah.
I think we need to take a little bit of time to acknowledge the fact that opening day has happened.
Yes.
It is officially MLB
Baseball
season.
Now we can talk about it.
And right now we have a huge storyline in baseball's
biggest contract of all time. Biggest contract of all time. Like, they were calling him the face of baseball. Now, it's kind of hard. I didn't really agree with that because, I mean, he really was the face of baseball, but America's pastime, that's what they call baseball, and we have it being the foreign player, I mean, like that's fine because he is the spotlight of baseball right now.
But now he's the spotlight not for a good reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Shohei Ohtani has got himself mixed up in a deal where he may or may not be guilty of gambling on himself.
Is that what it came out to be?
Yes, they were betting on games where he was pitching. And it has to do with his interpreter, who we have found out was actually just a close friend of his, like, for his entire life, who he just hired to be his quote-unquote interpreter. And now he's been doing interviews talking perfectly fine English.
Yeah,
which is also interesting. And it's, we're making $5 million bets, or $4 million bets on games where he's pitching, but it's going through his interpreter is the one who is placing the bets.
But it's to a bookie in the town that they're both from.
Yes, but the interesting thing about it, though, and the part that really trips me up in how there's even any question that he's not guilty.
Yeah.
The interpreter makes what? $300K a year, I think they said was his salary?
I think so. I think that's what they said.
I'd still take that.
And I'm not saying anything about his salary. What I'm saying is there is not a casino in the world that's going to accept a $4 million bet from a guy making $300K a year.
Right.
Unless they know that money's coming from somewhere. There's an insurance policy.
Well, my big thing is
which means, in my terms, Ohtani's footing the bill.
probably.
And he's in on it.
You know, I have a problem with it being the headlines for a couple of days, and then it seemed like it vanished. For
We're just brushing it under the rug.
You know, like
he's not even suspended for an investigation,
and this
which
is
is unreal.
the largest
Everybody
contract.
usually gets suspended pending investigation.
And
typically,
I'm sorry, kids, cover your ears. That's bullshit.
It's the biggest contract in MLB history.
I don't care.
I know. I'm saying it's the biggest.
he's agreeing.
I'm agreeing because
okay.
it's the
I'm like,
biggest
I don't
contract
care.
in
Like, it's
baseball
such a
history.
spotlight
And like
player.
it was there for like it made top headlines for a couple days, and then you didn't hear anything about it for some
Right.
time. And I'm like,
Well, there was some guy I saw, and I don't know. It's one of those things where I didn't look too far into it beyond it, but it was a TikTok video, and there's a guy talking about they found the game specifically that one of the bets was placed on. The bet that was placed was that I can't remember.
6.5.
Yeah, it was over 6.5.
Over 6.5
And
hits.
in the innings that Shohei threw, they got 6 hits, 6 runs. And they had over 6.5. So all they had to do was bring in one more person and score one more, and like that, like off their next pitcher, and like that was it. So it's just a little fishy that it worked out to be basically the perfect number to hit that. And it's just there's a lot of questions.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought he went over. I thought he gave up 7.
Maybe he
and
did
then
give up
then
7.
he went out.
Yeah. Either way, he got it to the point basically where the bet was like
The bet hit.
Yeah. So I think he did throw 7. I think that's right. Like I said, I didn't look any
I
further
think
into
it
it.
was, I think
But
it was
that's just
6.5.
it's just
and they
weird.
took the over, and he gave up 7.
Yeah. And off 7 hits or 6 hits or something like that. Like, I mean, that's just a little too perfect.
Yeah.
You know, it just so happens on that day he
Right.
throws one of his worst games.
Yeah. It's. I think my issue with it. Granted, they're two totally different situations, but I feel like there's a ton of evidence right now to go with the fact that he was in on it.
Oh yeah.
The fact that he's not suspended, but then in turn, I know it's entirely different situations. Trevor Bauer, the second that story broke, was immediately suspended and removed from baseball. There was not a shred of evidence presented.
And he's been proven not
He's been
guilty
proven
since then.
innocent.
And he still hasn't been allowed back in the. He's still not getting into the MLB.
He's technically not banned from the MLB. Just nobody wants to take him.
Right,
But
because
he's a liability.
I would say it's ruined his career.
yeah.
but
that
dude is absolutely shoving.
I know.
Oh, he's mowing people down.
He
right
is
now.
shoving.
I just keep hoping the Cardinals make a move for him. We need it.
Yeah,
we need it.
we do need it.
But like seriously, like I know it's entirely different situations, but it's like the second that story broke, he was within hours removed from baseball.
Yep.
At least suspended from the clubhouse, not allowed in Dodgers facilities. Like he was removed.
And I mean, yeah.
And it's just-
but that's just different situations.
I
And
get that,
the
but it's
thing
like
is,
it's still a
it's
huge
still-
story
yeah.
and something that needs to go under investigation, and that is why Shohei should not even be near baseball.
I'm with everybody else in America though. Like, if whatever comes about with this, like something has to be done about Pete Rose.
100%.
Oh,
if you
Dude,
decide to do
I've
nothing,
been wanting him to be allowed in the freaking hall this whole time. I mean, if my
if you
whole
decide
thing
to
with
do
the Pete
nothing
Rose
about
thing
this,
is
then Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Agreed. But my whole thing is with Pete Rose, he bet that he would do well.
Yeah.
Like he didn't bet he bet for himself, but not against himself.
Right.
Whereas in this situation, you bet against himself.
Mm-hmm.
If it is true that he was
Well,
involved.
because it's easier to suck than it is to be good.
Right. And so for that purpose, though, I don't even know that Pete Rose should have been banned in the first place. Do I agree that he should have been betting? Yeah, I mean, I agree that he shouldn't have been allowed to. But again, he didn't bet on himself to suck. He didn't throw any games.
That's the thing is this carries so much more weight than what happens to Shohei Ohtani. There is so much more that goes into this,
Oh,
depending
for
on
sure.
what the MLB decides to do. And I'm sorry, I get worked up
Yeah.
Especially because the Cardinals just lost to the Dodgers and Shohei played, and that just makes me it gets me fuming.
Yeah.
They also just started. Game 2.
Hell yeah.
Game 2. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, there's my rant.
That's frustrating.
It is frustrating, and I get it. I mean,
I'm intrigued to see what they actually do.
yeah.
But then again, like,
if anything.
If anything.
I mean,
So far, it doesn't look promising that they're going to do anything.
Yeah.
but the thing is, I like Shohei. I mean, I think he's been he's good.
He's very good.
First of all, he's good.
He's very good.
And I think he's really kind of shown that. I mean, he's a kind of a quiet person.
Man, dude, if
You know?
his
So a lot of this
the
is
quiet guy that bets $4 million.
But that's the thing. That's, like, that's
what
what makes this kind of interesting. Is like, man, it's hard to believe that a guy like that
at first I
has
didn't.
potential to maybe do this. You know,
At first I didn't believe it, and then as more and more came out, I started thinking maybe he did do this shit. Like
Yeah.
maybe, and then now I'm just thinking, I'm like, dude, my sports cards investing that I've made for baseball, yikes.
Depending on the direction this goes, though.
Well, because
I mean,
yeah, well, but if
It's
if
huge
Shohei-
storylines. Now you get like
if
one of the
Shohei
biggest
gets
names.
banned,
The
though.
guy who signed the largest contract in MLB history just got banned from the MLB. That's kind of niche.
Yeah, that is niche. But then I got to find a niche buyer.
Well, the
'Cause-
niche buyers probably want
Because
to
the
pay a
last,
lot.
the other guy that I bought heavily into was Wander Franco, and we all know how that one wound up.
Also
Not well.
niche, not a
Also
good niche.
Yeah. So if anybody wants some Wander Francos, hit me up. I got some nice ones.
I think he's got a patch auto of the 12-year-old's shirt.
You give me $14 for it.
So more baseball. Obviously, baseball's a longer season, so we're gonna have more to talk about when the time comes.
There's also going to be a lot of dead time on this too. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's not always interesting things happening throughout the MLB season.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. It's a stretch. I mean, it's a
It is.
marathon, not a sprint. But yeah,
But
we're
you
excited.
better believe when October rolls around, we'll be talking about
Oh
it.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk about it throughout the season. You see, kind of give maybe a heads up. Let's see. If we had to take a pick,
Mhm.
who do you think would win this year?
The World Series?
Yeah.
The Dodgers have a really good track record of choking. So, I'm rolling with the Braves. I still like the Braves.
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
like the Braves a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
I'd love to see Baltimore. I mean, I'm a
It'd
Cardinal
be-
fan. I
it'd
just
be
don't. I don't think
fun.
that's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be.
So,
Practical.
hang on. Time out.
It's not
Time-
practical at all.
I would say, I like how you say you like Baltimore, but then you gave me endless amounts of shit for talking about OKC and Indiana, but they're the same situation. Young, fun teams. When we're talking NBA,
Yeah, it's my job to disagree with you.
you're right. So I guess
You're
this is
right.
I guess this is me
Just
saying,
defeated. You're right.
This is my job.
this is my
to
way of
be-
saying you're full of shit because that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, right.
What a
Yeah.
terrible take.
Give me the Oakland A's.
I really think this is their year.
They've got
Bring back Billy Bean.
They've got what, like $69 million on their whole payroll this year, or something like that.
Buddy, I bet
Like they went backwards from last year.
We're playing in the aggregate.
I bet the odds for them to win the World Series right now are up.
Oh, dude, they're easily like 40,000.
I bet they are up.
Dude, you throw a nice little $5 on that, you're gonna be rich.
Yeah, I might go bet $1 on them later. We'll see what their odds are.
It's a hell of an ROI, I tell you what. Low risk, high
This
reward.
happens.
No, I'm excited that baseball's started. It's
I'm excited too.
It
I
just
get
means
excited
that-
for like the first month, and then I'm like, okay, let's wait.
All right,
I'm excited to
I'll
see.
flip this back on in September.
I'm excited to see what they
when I
do.
go to a game, I'll be excited again.
Yeah.
Understandable, but I mean,
That's what I need to like rejuvenate like my baseball fandom through the year is like,
Go to
once
a
I
game.
die off, I have to go to a game, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm back into it.
but I mean, being a baseball player, like I played for how long, So
Right.
I mean, that kind of my interest in that is higher
I get it.
than most. So I'm
mean-
ready to see.
I mean, I was a swimmer. I don't necessarily watch swimming.
Jake,
pretty
we were-
damn boring.
We were all swimmers.
Yeah, we were at one
Just
point.
another has been.
Yep. That's why I'm here.
So, no. Anyway, I mean, we won't spend too much time on that anymore.
No.
Let's just.
I just had to do my rant. Sorry, guys.
Nah, it's okay. I get it. It's definitely frustrating.
The NBA, I haven't watched much of it lately because March Madness.
Yeah.
But I will say the end of the season's coming up.
Yeah. We're in the countdown.
The Bucks have not looked good under
they
Doc
look terrible.
Rivers.
Because Doc Rivers is a terrible coach.
Like, that has been...
And we didn't make any moves to bolster our defense at the trade deadline.
That's
and
been
it's
pretty disappointing.
awful. Terrible. But no, I told you, Chet. Doc
Disappointing
Rivers
story
is
there.
not a good coach.
Disappointing story there. Surprised to see the OKC up there. Surprised to see Minnesota up there.
Oh!
I know.
Oh! Indiana sucked recently, so I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
But OKC is the real deal.
They are fun.
And then in the East, like, Miami usually makes a push here towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of it.
I don't know. They're just not a...
They scored like...
They're not a fun team this year. They used to be a fun team.
They scored 142 points tonight.
Nice. Good
Wait.
for them.
Let me look at that.
Speaking
again.
of...
Dude, they won by 60 points.
You know who's a fun team? That's a lot of points.
I was going to say, we're just going to go blow
Oh,
by
no,
that?
I was just going to
No,
say, speaking
that's a
of
lot.
OKC, it's
But-
actually like super interesting. They had their average player age is like 22.6.
Yeah.
And the average
North
age
Carolina
of North
was
Carolina
older.
was like older. Or they were like 22.4 and they were like 22.8 or something like that.
That's wild.
Like North Carolina's average age is older than Oklahoma City Thunder's
Yeah.
average age of their starting five.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
But no, another fun team, I'm telling you, man, is... And it's not even necessarily the team that's fun, but the Bulls. Watching the tandem of DeSumo and Kobe White has been fun.
They are fun to watch. Yeah,
Io's playing great ball. Kobe's been playing great all year. Like, it's fun.
They definitely surprised me. I
It's
think
like, you got
they're
Lamar.
fun
I
to
hate
watch.
Vucevic. He's just miserable to watch, if I'm being completely honest. But everything else about that team is fun. Even Dalen Terry hasn't been doing too bad. Those are like the only games I get consistently because of NBC Chicago. So it's like,
Right.
those are what I usually end up watching down here. But
That's fair.
no, they're fun to watch.
I still see Boston winning.
I said
I think
Bucks
that's
at
a
the
very
beginning of the year,
realistic
but
pick.
in my heart of hearts, I think Boston's the best team.
I still have Boston winning.
I don't think
I can give you a team that
I
can
don't
argue.
think they're going to win at all. I really don't. But they're going to come out of the East. I'll tell you that. I'll say that much. They'll come out of the East, but they're not winning at all.
So then, who do you think wins it all?
Minnesota.
What?
Yeah.
Speak up.
Minnesota.
Just like, hold on, I'm gonna need to get that one on the
I want
record. Say it
everybody
with
to
your
hear that.
chest.
Say that
Say it
a
with your
lot.
chest.
Minnesota.
Wow.
There's the confidence we were looking for.
Somebody's got to be willing to say it.
Hey, did you see that A-Rod's deal didn't go through?
A-Rod's deal. What do you
Like,
mean?
so he was planning on buying the Timberwolves.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. And it's
Just because I said
thing.
I'm picking the Timberwolves to win it all doesn't mean I know every fucking storyline coming out of Minnesota.
Oh, well, yeah.
I like how he's like, oh, did you see his deal didn't go through? There was a deal.
I don't care.
A-Rod buying the Timberwolves is no longer a thing. Their contract did not follow through, and the contract did not get agreed upon in the time frame that it was supposed to, the allotted time.
Okay.
So no deal.
Can't wait until we revisit after the
And I saw-
winning the chance to be wrong.
Yeah. But I saw something that was just like, yeah, no wonder the deal didn't go through because they're winning now, bro. Like, why would he want to sell?
Right. He doesn't want to sell when they're good.
Yeah. But that's all I got for NBA.
That
though.
makes sense.
And then we can touch one way. Look, Cardinals are losing already. Dang. Come on, boys. NFL, real quick. I know we've been on for quite a while, but
I
we'll
don't
throw
think
something
there's
out
really
there.
any storyline.
There's the only storyline that we got for NFL is the rule change
Oh yeah.
of
The kickoff.
the
rule.
kickoff
I
or
didn't
the
even
onside
see that.
onside kick, right?
No, that's their new kickoff rule. Like they're not lining up anymore with the like the classic scheme. They're lining up. I can't remember what yard line it's on. They have a diagram available, but they're lining up basically like they're snapping the ball. And they have their kicker down at one end, and they got two receivers down at the other end. So you're not going to have two teams running full speed at each other now down the field. They're just lining up across from each other. It's supposed to limit injuries. It's super weird. But what I think is going to happen is you're going to get a crap ton of holding penalties coming out of that.
I don't even understand what you're saying. That doesn't make any sense.
Like, you'll have to look at the diagram, but it's weird. I already know exactly what you're going to say. You're going to go, ooh, yeah, I don't like that. That's going to be your exact response when you see it. Here, hold on, I'm pulling up the diagram real quick. It'd be really nice if we had like the Pat McAfee board, like, hey, pull that up.
That costs money, Jay.
It does.
It means you have to pay
so-
somebody.
So kickoff start zone right here for the kicking team, that's the setup zone for the defense. You've got your landing zone and your kicker down here, so your receiver's down here. So one team lines up right on the, I think that's the
They're trying to
35, and then the other team lines up on the 40. So they're 5 yards apart. And then they kick all the way back at like the 45 down to the other end zone. Like, it's weird. It's the XFL kickoff rule is what it is. But it's supposed to limit like injuries of running into each other. But now you're going to get a ton of block in the back calls because somebody's going to slip through and then they're going to block them in the back, chasing them down. Or you're going to get a crap ton of holding calls on the line because you're going to be trying to defend them right here while your kicker's receiving, and you got to hold them there. So you're going to get a ton of holding penalties coming out of that as well, more than we already have.
Yeah, you're right. I don't
So
like
the
that.
NFL owners approved it, and they voted to approve the rule change. And so what it is,
And they also banned the hip drop tackle.
I did see that.
so the kickoff will continue to place the ball at the kicking team's 35-yard line unless a penalty is enforced. The 10 non-kicker members of the kicking team will line up with 1 foot on the receiving team's 40-yard line. Those players cannot move until the ball hits the ground or is touched by another team. So everybody's stationary until the ball's kicked and touched.
Yeah.
Or it hits the ground.
Yeah, you got it.
The receiving team will line up with 9 of its players in a setup zone, a 5-yard area between the 35 and the 30. At least 7 of those players must have a foot on the 35. The players not on the 35 must line up outside the hash marks. The players in the setup zone cannot move until the ball hits the ground or touches the player. So nobody up there can move. Now you can have 2 guys back in the landing spot. Maximum of 2 returners can line up in the landing zone and can move at any time. The landing zone will be the area between the 20 and the goal line. Any kick that hits before the crossing of the receiving 20-yard line will be spotted at the receiving team's 40. Any kick placed in the landing zone must be returned. Any kick that hits the landing zone and goes in the end zone must be returned or downed by the receiving team. The latter move would result in a touchback to the 20-yard line. A kick that hits in the end zone and stays inbounds could be returned or downed. If downed, the ball will be spotted at the 35. A kick that goes back out the back of the end zone will result in a touchback to the 35-yard line. No fair catch or signal is allowed, unlike punt returns.
Yeah, so that's the new kickoff rule.
I don't like that at all.
It's weird, man.
So this isn't like there's more to it.
Oh,
so
really?
after the fourth quarter
Okay.
begins.
Let's not just dive into the entire dictionary definition of what
I'm
this
just
is.
saying, like after the fourth quarter begins, the trailing team will have the opportunity to declare on onside kicks. If an onside kick goes beyond the setup zone untouched, a penalty will occur and the ball will be placed. Free kicks. I mean, they're trying to just change.
The NFL's gone soft.
Yeah, and you can't hip drop tackle
A lot of
anymore.
I'm actually okay with the hip drop. Like that's
There's certain plays where I'm not.
who was it? There was some former NFL player who said if you still hip drop, you don't know how to tackle.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
see.
like rule. I mean, I'm not
A
a
lot of
big
the
fan of
defensive
change.
players were not very happy with that, though.
Yeah.
Because they still get chopped in the knees. They still
Yeah.
get all the same hits that they get, but now that takes away one way that they can take take an offensive player down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like change. I'm not a big advocate of change. Like, these sports have been good for so long under the rules that have been previously made. Yeah, some things are kind of out of date, you know, but I still think that changes are not.
But I mean, that takes away the onside kick early in the game too. Like you just said, like they can't even declare an onside kick till the fourth quarter, and that's only the trailing team.
I mean,
that's insane. That takes away a whole aspect of the game.
I mean, I don't know in what situation you would go for an onside kick if you're not trailing.
You never know.
Early, right before the half.
You never know. But I haven't looked into this a whole lot. I saw some details on it. Well, clearly it's a trial. It's a 1-year trial if they do it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, but definitely,
it's stupid.
To all the listeners, definitely check it out. You know, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the new rule. I think that'll be a good discussion. So let us know what you think, what your takes are on that.
Also, who do you have winning the tournament? NCAA tournament. Leave us a comment on who's winning the tournament. What do you think of this rule? What are your thoughts on Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah.
Should he be suspended? Should he be removed from the league? You tell us.
And whatever you might want to hear.
Yeah.
And
let us know what you want for future episodes.
So.
Yep.
That's all I got.
I'll say we don't have to stick to strictly current news. If you want like our outlook on something that's potentially going to happen in the future, if you want to know, seriously, anything. It doesn't matter. Anything sports related. You want our opinion on it, we'll give it to you. So let us know.
From one has been to another. Later.
Thank you all for joining us, and thanks, Jake.
Thanks for having me.